A quick introduction to this one because I mentioned in the description of the Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc videos we put out recently, which is all Ferrari footage, and we're very grateful to them, Scuderia Ferrari, grazie for sending that, putting it out because it's good stuff, nicely filmed, nice colour, etc., nice to see Fiorano. And here's one of Mick Schumacher coming up. Of course, he's driving for Haas Ferrari this year, but as part of the Ferrari Driver Academy, he gets to test at Fiorano in that 2018 Formula One car. But I did mention in the descriptions of the two videos we published already or posted already that I would try to get some answers to what was really going on. The first was what Carlos Sainz really would have thought about and did think about the cockpit of the 2018 Ferrari compared with the McLaren, because what this test was more than anything for Carlos was just to get used to the steering wheel and basically the cockpit architecture. And the feedback I've had from Ferrari is he wasn't actually that impressed. Of course, he wasn't going to say that, and at the moment he's being very circumspect. In fact, I think there's a bit of a honeymoon going on with Carlos at the moment in Italy, which Charles Leclerc is going to have to live through. But nonetheless, good for Carlos. But what I think he's found is that he's a bit bemused by the number of switches all over the place on the steering wheel. The McLaren wheel is a lot neater and tidier, as you would expect from McLaren, and there's sort of bits everywhere on the Ferrari. So it's taking him a bit of time to get used to that. That's one point. And secondly, I was asking the question what Charles thought about going back to the 2018 car, which was a quick car, remember, the old engine mapping, compared with last year's Ferrari, and absolutely for sure he said, oh yeah, can I race this car please? Completely different car. And they're a bit worried. It's going to be a bit of a shell shock for Charles when he gets back into the 21 car, which of course will be better by definition than the 20 car, but whether or not it's going to be quicker than something like a McLaren Mercedes now, let alone the Racing Point stroke Aston Martin Mercedes, which was a very quick car last year obviously, is another matter. So Ferrari sort of getting ready for another difficult year. Anyway, that's the feedback from behind the scenes. Obviously, that sort of stuff will never be put out by Ferrari, but I thought you might like to know that. Anyway, let's enjoy having Ferrari's orchestrated chat with Mick Schumacher about his run at Fiorano.
Yeah, the day went really well. I think we had different test items we wanted to go through, and I feel like we went all well on them. There are different things that also were important for me to go through to learn. Obviously, every kilometer in a Formula One car is important. These days we have very little pre-season testing, so a day like this is just so valuable for me, and to be able to do it here with Ferrari is obviously even more special. Any mileage in a car is good, and if it can be a Formula One car, that's even better. For me, it's going to be the first season. Obviously, any kilometer I can drive in a Formula One car is just another day and another kilometer of preparation for my season this year. It's been a lifelong dream for me to be in F1, and now I finally got the chance, and therefore I will do everything I can to be as prepared as I can to then start the season on a high. For me especially, I've been focusing on my neck training, because that is obviously the one part that we use the most in Formula One. And just the G-forces, that's something you just learn by driving the car and obviously doing those laps, and that's when your body gets really fine-tuned onto a Formula One car. So definitely just train your neck, and that was my go-to this year. I guess it's very hard to describe other than saying that it's, I think, one of the most special places to come to see a racing car drive, because you're so close to it. And now for myself, actually driving it here on my own, it's very special. Obviously, knowing how many laps and how many days my dad has spent here in the past, it's great to come here and do kind of the same, even though we're not allowed to do as many days as back in the days. But still, it would be, it's so special to be here.